Yes, good morning student. Let us start our science class. Yes. Okay. In microorganisms chapter, that is a microorganisms are friend and foe. In that chapter we have studied about the meaning of microorganisms and how we can see the microorganism, what we need to see or observe the microorganisms, all those things we have studied. After that we have studied that the useful microorganism, that is a friendly relationship between we and microorganism. We have taken a number of examples and we have studied in detail. Yeah, after that we have studied that the harmful effects of microorganisms, or else the microorganisms are causing diseases to us and plants. So that we have studied in last class. Just will recall student, which are the diseases caused by the microorganisms for human beings? Yeah, what are those? Yeah, we know that poliovirus, chickenpox, nowadays the coronavirus, all those things we have studied. How we can prevent, or else preventive measures also we have studied, and in the mode of transmission also we have studied. Yeah, next we studied about the plant diseases which is caused by the microorganism. What are the example? Yes, citrus canker, rust in wheat, all those things we have studied, and we have studied the respective microorganisms, or else those microorganisms, all those things all in detail we have studied in last class. Yes, in today's class just will move to the one of the most important point in this chapter, that is the nitrogen fixation. Tell me student, the microorganisms are very useful to us, that is animals and plants. They are very useful, they are helping us, they are the friend to us. Okay, in that way we will study the nitrogen fixation. Yeah, do you know what is nitrogen fixation? Nitrogen means nothing but it is an element. Element nitrogen itself, N it is, the symbol is N. Next, in what way the nitrogen fixation is done in our environment, or else in our soil, or else in our atmosphere. See, there also the microbes are taking a very important role or part in that also. They are helping us by doing the fixation of fixation of nitrogen. So first we will study what is nitrogen fixation, means what. See, sometimes the microbes like bacteria are able to fix nitrogen from atmosphere to enrich the soil fertility. Okay, enrich the soil with nitrogen and increase its fertility. These microorganisms are called biological nitrogen fixer. Okay, those organisms are helping to fix the nitrogen. Those organisms are called as biological nitrogen fixer. Come to know, today we are going to study more about that one. So I will write the heading what we are studying today, that is a nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation. Okay, come to know that the microbes are taking a vital role in the fixation of nitrogen. Okay, those organisms are helping to fix this nitrogen in atmosphere, and they are increasing the fertility of soil. Means those organisms are called what? The biological nitrogen fixer. Come to know, the biological nitrogen fixer. Write down student, it is a new term to you, biological nitrogen fixer. Okay, come to know now. Once again I will repeat. Here the nitrogen fixation means this nitrogen fixation is fixed by whom? The nitrogen is fixed by the bacteria, that is itself microbes. So those microbes are called as biological nitrogen fixer. Okay, come to know now. Next we will see which are responsible for this? Which bacteria are responsible for this one? Many bacteria and many microbes are responsible for this one. We will study in detail. Okay. See, the bacterium rhizobium. Have you come across that one? Have you seen that bacteria in your microscope? Yes? Yeah. Where it is present, this rhizobium? Rhizobium, very famous bacteria it is. It is very famous for the nitrogen fixation. Then where it is present, student? Yes, it is involved in the fixation of nitrogen in leguminous plants. Where? In leguminous plants. See, in leguminous plants. Do you know what is leguminous plants? Leguminous plants means what? Yeah, those plants can fix, those plants have the root nodule in that one. Root nodule. I will draw and show student how it will be. Just imagine this is a plant. Here the root of that plant having a node. See, this is a nodes are there. In Kannada we can say that is a gantu. So there will be a nodes in this one. These nodes are filled with, that is a house of, or else the home of these bacteria. If you are going to see these nodes, and if you are going to open, and if you are dissecting that one, if you are going to observe under the microscope, means we can see the bacteria, rod shaped bacteria, that is nothing but the rhizobium. What? Rhizobium. These bacteria are called as rhizobium. Come to know where it is present? Leguminous plants. Leguminous plants means nothing but that plant can fix nitrogen because they have the root nodules. In root nodules we can see the rhizobium bacteria. So can you give the example? Best example, beans plant. Upon that pea plant, all the pea, if it is a green pea or anything, so in pea plant we can see this one. If you have in your home any plants like leguminous plants, if it is a beans or if it is a pea, means you can observe that one. Okay, we can see the nice root nodules. Root nodules we can see in that fibrous roots are having the root nodules. Now, why these root nodules are having? Because why they are carrying the bacteria? Why they are carrying this bacteria? Whether these plants are harmful to this one or else any side effect from this? No. Here what it is? Both this bacteria and this pea plant both are having the benefit. Okay, here these bacteria present in this, that is organism. Upon that one more organism, that is a plant. Both the plant and these bacteria, that is a rhizobium bacteria, are in the symbiotic relationship. Symbiotic means nothing but both are having the benefit in that. Okay, both bacteria and this plant are benefited by this relationship, that is a symbiotic relationship. There is no harmful to us. Just imagine students, there will be a lice on our head, present in our head. What happened? We are getting some irritation, we are getting some diseases because of that lice, but lice are getting nice nutrients from us, no? But here it is not like that. If you are taking lice and us, what will happen? One organism is getting what a benefit and one more is harmful. Okay, one is getting benefit, one more is it is giving the diseases to us. Here what happened? Both the organisms are benefited because of this relationship. So such a relationships are called as symbiotic relationship. Okay, symbiotic relationship. Come to know, symbiotic relationship means both are having the benefit from this one. In what way? Plants. In plant root there will be a rhizobium. Whether plant have any benefit from this? It is carrying that one. Whether it has any benefit? Yes, because this plant is getting easily they can absorb the nitrogen, because here this is very famous, this bacteria is very famous for the nitrogen fixation. So what it is doing? It is giving the nitrogen to this plant. Without any work, this plant is getting enough amount of nitrogen. So it is getting the benefit, right? Yes. What about this bacteria? Bacteria simply without any struggle it is getting a home or house to stand over there. So it is getting the shelter. So these bacteria are also getting the shelter, so that it is a symbiotic. Come to know, symbiotic means both are having the benefit or beneficial relationship it is. Come to know, example what and all? Beans and pea plant. Okay. Sometimes nitrogen get fixed through the action of lightning also. In one way studied that nitrogen because of these leguminous plants. Sometime what's happened? Sometime nitrogen get fixed through the action of lightning. Yes, how it is lightning? Have you seen the lightning? Yeah, but you know that the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere remain constant. Come to know? Yeah. You may wonder how it is so. See, nitrogen is present in atmosphere in how many percentage? Already we have studied in our lower class. 78% of atmosphere is filled with nitrogen gas. We all know that. Next later it will come 21% oxygen, next small percentage, that is a carbon dioxide. Yeah, almost it is a 0.03 or 4 like that will come. Okay, but the 78% of atmosphere is filled with nitrogen gas. But the nitrogen gas is continuously, it is reaching to the soil. But what happened? The concentration of nitrogen is not always, it is concentration is always constant in the atmosphere. Okay, how it is? You are wonder how it is. Yeah, it is very wondering, or how may wonder how. Sorry, you may wonder how it is. How? Yeah, because once it is reaches to the soil, once again it is going back. So that we are going to study today. That is a nitrogen cycle. Okay, the cyclic process which the nitrogen element is circulated continuously through the living and non-living component of the biosphere. Come to know, that is called as a nitrogen cycle. Yeah, cycle means what it is? Always cycle. There will be a, we can't see the end and starting position because it is in the circular path. See here, this is a nitrogen cycle means nothing but is a cycle itself. The cyclic process by which the nitrogen element is circulated continuously through the living and non-living component of the biosphere. Two terms will come, living and non-living. What is living? Yeah, we are the human being, plants, bacteria, all the microbes are the living organisms. What about the non-living? It may in soil. It may reach to the soil, or else it is present in the atmosphere. Water also. So that is a non-living component of the biosphere. You know that what is biosphere? Okay, write down student, what is biosphere? Yeah, search and write down what is biosphere. In our lower classes, number of times we come across that one. Okay, biosphere. So here what happened? Living and non-living component both are participating in this cycle. Okay, that is a nitrogen cycle. Yes, the nitrogen is one of the essential constituent of all living organisms as a part of proteins, or else chlorophyll, or else nucleic acid, even a vitamins also. You know that where is a nucleic acid? Nucleic acid is a building block of proteins. So if the nitrogen is present in the nucleic acid, protein also having the nucleic acid. Upon that the vitamins also having the nitrogen in it. So we need nitrogen. We need nitrogen because without nitrogen we can't imagine our life. So we are not having the capacity of taking nitrogen from our soil or else from our atmosphere. Then how these nitrogens are getting to us or else getting to the plants? Only one thing we have studied, the leguminous plants can able to fix nitrogen in it. They can absorb the atmospheric nitrogen. What about the other plants? What about the human beings? What about the other organism? Just think of it, student, how it is getting. Okay, that we are getting the nitrogen from nitrogen cycle. We are going to study that one, how it is. Come to know? So where and all nitrogens are present in our body? Yeah, as a form of protein, as a form of chlorophyll, as a form of nucleic acid and vitamins. Not only in us, in plants, in other lower organisms, we can see this one nitrogen as a major, having the major role in their carbohydrates or anywhere. Okay, come to know. Next, we will study the nitrogen cycle. Okay, we will draw the nitrogen cycle and we will study. Yeah, next we will say the nitrogen cycle. You have to take your book along with me, you have to write. Okay, write and study, student, otherwise it is very difficult to study because there will be a number of terms will come, so that you have to write it neatly, you have to write it, then only you can get easily. So first we will see the nitrogen cycle. In that we have to take which element? That is a nitrogen element. Already we come to know that almost 78% of atmosphere is filled with which gas? Nitrogen gas. Now the nitrogen gas have to come back to the soil. Once again it have to go to the atmosphere. That we are going to study now. Yes, first we will see the atmospheric nitrogen. Now the beginning we can say that we will take this point, atmospheric nitrogen. Nitrogen is present in the atmosphere now. Next, what happened? Some organism, that is some microbes are able to fix this nitrogen. Okay, those organisms are fixing the nitrogen. See, nitrogen fixing bacteria fix atmosphere nitrogen. This process we can call as a nitrification. Actually, in first step there will be a nitrogen. Yes, that nitrogen atmosphere, that actually it is a gaseous form of nitrogen. This gaseous form is fixed by bacteria. Okay, this fixed by bacteria. What happened now? This atmospheric nitrogen have to reach to the next layer. Come to know? Yeah, what happened here? Nitrogen fixing bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen. Next, what they are doing in their body, or else what they are doing that nitrogen as a different types of nitrogenous compounds. We can take one simple example, that is a nitrate we can take, that is a NO3 form. So here we can say that is converting nitrogen to nitrates. Come to know, nitrogen to nitrates, that is because of the microbes only. Different microbes are there, those microbes are helping for the nitrification. Come to know, here also what happened? They are giving extra oxygen to that one. Nitrogen gas it was, so they are adding nitrogen to them, so it became a nitrates. Come to know? Yeah. Next, that bacteria are turning that into or fixing them into a nitrogenous compound. Next, what happened? These bacteria are present in the soil. So what happened? The compounds of nitrogen in the soil. That nitrogen, when it was, first it was in the atmosphere, because of that microorganism it is reaches to the soil. Now where the nitrogen is now? Yeah, now it is in the soil. Okay, reaches to the soil. Next, what happened? After that, from here, the nitrogen can, now this nitrogen is with oxygen, that oxygen may remove because of some other bacteria or else some other microbes. That process is called as denitrification, and once again it is converted to a gaseous nitrogen and finally it reaches to the atmosphere. This is a one way. Okay, only one way we have studied because of the bacteria and or else any other Azotobacter, Rhizobium, many are there. Nitrogen fixing bacteria are helpful to this one. First is it was nitrogen gas, next it is converted into different nitrogenous compounds, next it reaches to the soil. Next what happened? Once it is reaches to the soil, other microbes which are responsible for the denitrification, they are acting over there and it is converting once again back to the atmosphere as a form of nitrogen gas. Okay, one simple way it is. Next we will see one more thing. Yeah, here nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. Due to the lightning, what will happen, you know? The number of nitrogens, that is as a form of nitrous oxide or else nitric oxide or else nitrogen peroxide. Do you know the symbols of that one? I will write student here. See, first one is nitrous oxide. Yeah, what is the symbol of this one? Nitrous means, yes, it is, yes, write down nitrous oxide and nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, and one more is a nitrogen peroxide. Okay, these are the different forms of nitrogen in atmosphere. Okay, nitrous oxide, nitric oxide and a nitrogen peroxide. Okay, you have to search the symbols for this one. How we can symbolical representation of these three you have to refer. Come to know, no? Yes. So what happened? These are the different forms of nitrogen present in the atmosphere. Okay, what happened? Because of the lightning, this nitrogen is converted into these three forms and it is along with the rainwater, it is mixed up with the rainwater and finally it reaches to the soil. Come to know? First it was a gaseous nitrogen. Due to the lightning, what happened? It converted into three forms. These three forms combines with rainwater. Finally what happened? Because of the rain, due to rain, it reaches to the where? Reaches to the soil. Yes, next we will see here what happened. Because of this lightning, nitrogen is reaches to the soil now. Now, in two different paths we got the nitrogen. Okay. Now, the soil is, what happened is storing this nitrogen as a, because it increases fertility. So, this nitrogen is uptake by whom? By plants. Plants are they have the root. Whether we can take nitrogen from soil? No, it is very difficult because we don't have any root. But plants are having the root. Those plants are taking nitrogen from the soil. So now where it is the nitrogen? Nitrogen reaches to the plant body. Come to know? Yeah, before it was in atmosphere, now it is reaches to soil, next it is reaches to plant body. Next, what we are doing? We the animals are eating. Okay, eating those plants. Now that nitrogen, it will reaches to our body. Yeah? Animal eat plant, so that what happened? Nitrogen, now it is present here also. Okay, it is there in here. Upon that, it is there in here also. Animal ate plants. Now what happened? After nitrogenous waste from the excretion and dead part of the both the animal and both the plants, what happened? Now it is reaches to the soil once again. These dead matter or waste or excretion of these animal and plants are, now it is reaches to the soil because the bacteria and fungus are going to decay that one. Because of the presence of that bacteria and fungus, now the nitrogen reaches to the soil once again. So we can add here also the arrow mark because plant may die, upon that animal may die. So we can add the arrow mark here also. In your textbook there is no arrow mark, but you can add the arrow mark because both can die, both can give out the excretion, or else both they can dead and decay parts, so that we can put a arrow mark to here also. Now what happened? Nitrogen reaches to the soil. Clear, student? Here we have studied two main part. One is the atmospheric nitrogen fixation and one more is a biological nitrogen fixation. Here this is a biological nitrogen fixation. As it is, the nitrogen present in the atmosphere is converted by whom? Bacteria, and they reaches to the soil. Next it is taken up by the plants and all those things. That is a biological nitrogen fixation. One more step we got, that is atmospheric nitrogen fixation. How it is? Due to the lightning, what happened? The nitrogen, when it is present in the atmosphere, it reaches to the soil. That is a atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Upon that we have got nitrification method and denitrification method. Here we can get one more process, that is the ammonification. Ammonification also there, because here we can see the ammonification method also. The same thing you are going to study in your 9th class in detail. Okay, so that just roughly they have given one small idea, they have given to you how the organisms are responsible for the nitrogen fixation. Once again I will repeat, student. Now the atmosphere have a majority or else more number of nitrogen, or as the percentage of nitrogen is more in the atmosphere, that atmospheric nitrogen can fix by the bacteria and it is reaches to the soil. Okay, once again it goes back because of the bacteria itself. That process is called as denitrification. Once again it reaches to the atmosphere as a form of gaseous nitrogen. One more way, in nitrogen, because of the lightning, it converts nitrous oxide, nitric oxide, that is NO, or else nitrogen peroxide, N to HO4. Okay, what happened? Because of that it reaches to the soil. Plants can take or absorb that nitrogen nutrients as it is by using the roots. Next, that plant is eaten by the animals. Animals may get the nitrogen. We need nitrogen because it is a very important element in our protein. Upon that, in our nucleic acid and vitamins. Okay, in plants also having the chlorophyll, because of that it is very important. Yes, next it is after the death and decaying of any waste part or anything of the plants and animals. Once again the bacteria and fungus are responsible for the decaying process. They may give the nitrogen to the soil. This is a cyclic process. Okay, that's all about the nitrogen cycle. Very important. They may ask for the 3 marks. So you have to draw and study. Okay, next we'll recall, student, what we have studied in the today's class. Yeah, in today's class we have taken a new concept, that is a nitrogen fixation. Yes, who is responsible for this nitrogen fixation? That is the microorganisms. So we have studied the definition. Some bacteria are able to fix nitrogen from atmosphere to enrich soil with nitrogen and increase its fertility. These microorganisms are called biological nitrogen fixer. Biological nitrogen fixer. Next, we have studied the name of the bacteria, that is a rhizobium, present in where? The leguminous plants. Why it is important? Because it able to fix the nitrogen. This is an example for biological nitrogen fixer. Okay, any other blue-green algae, azotobacteria, cyanobacteria, many are there. You have to refer more and more example for the nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, yes. Next, what we have studied? After that, we have studied the symbiotic relationship. What is that symbiotic relationship? Yes, both the organisms are having the benefit from this relationship. Yes. Next, what we have studied? Sometime because of the lightning, soil may get the nitrogen, sometime because of the bacterial action, that is a microbial action, soil get the nitrogen. In two different way also we have studied. Yes, in nitrogen cycle, how the nitrogen cycle, when the nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, it reaches to the soil because of the lightning and because of the bacteria. Okay, that is called as a nitrogen fixing bacteria, that is called as biological nitrogen fixation. One more is a atmospheric nitrogen fixation. That's all about today's class. So we have completed entire chapter, that is a microorganisms friend and foe. Okay, which this will recall from the beginning. Before that, I will give you some question from today's class. Student, draw a nitrogen cycle. Yes. Yes. Next, what is symbiotic association? Yes. Next, one more question. Give example for biological nitrogen fixer. Okay, these are the three questions. Next, we will recall from the beginning what and all we have studied in microbes chapter. Yeah, there are four major categories of microorganism. That is what and all? Algae, protozoa, yes, fungi, one more, bacteria. Next, viruses also there, but we are not including that one. We have studied why it is. Yes, after that we have studied some of the friendly relationship between we and microorganism. What and all? Vaccination, antibiotic, all those things we have studied. Upon that, the preparation of idli also because of these bacteria or fungus. Yes, upon that we have studied the alcohol preparation, the industrial preparation of commercial use we have studied. Yes, fermentation process we have studied, pasteurization process we have studied. Yes, later we studied about the harmful effect of microorganism, that is a disease causing microorganism, not only to us but also for the plants also. Plants also infected or affected by these microorganisms. We have listed different symptoms, diseases, causative organisms and controlling measures, or else all those things we have studied in last class. After that, we have studied about the food poison, how we are getting the food poison. Next, food preservation we have studied in different ways, how our grannies used to preserve food. Upon that, in industrially how they are. In chips packet, which gas they are using and why, all those things we have studied. Yes, in today's class we have studied the nitrogen fixation and nitrogen cycle. So that we have completed entire chapter. Thank you, students.